He wants to sing with me. Y'all ready? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Metairie. We're here to celebrate that divine presence and life within each of us. And we know that life is so good, so sing along with us this morning. Every day I'm so thankful, grateful. It's a new day on my horizon. See all that I am, all I can be. Oh, it's just the gratitude shining through me. Nature's gift to me, a perfect place to be. I keep it loving myself so I can see there's only beauty in you, beauty in me. Oh, all standing together and let the whole world stand so great. I'm so thankful. Come on, y'all. I'm so grateful. We have a beautiful morning to be grateful for. Life is so good. Life is so good. Precious and good. Precious and good. Look at these beautiful girls. With every breath I take, with every step I take, it takes me higher on my path of awakening. See through the eyes of love, there's only one of us. So let's be thankful for all that's been given us. No need to live in fear. All of life is in you. Come on and love and let the love come shining in. Father faces, warm embraces, so let's all stand up and let the whole world sound so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. My life is so good, precious and good. So we welcome everybody here to our wonderful Fall Festival, our Sunday morning service. Everyone that's watching us on Facebook, we're so glad that you joined us. Unity is a philosophical way of life, not a religion. We support all religions, all spiritual paths, and all lifestyles, believing that within all living things there's a presence of Christ, the presence of love, the very presence of God. So let's be grateful, y'all. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful. All right, y'all. Let's get in that last hug and last handshake. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Look at all these great outfits, y'all. Looking beautiful today. I think I have an idea. We have somebody here dressed as Minnie Mouse who's barely... How old is she now?
3 months.
She's the youngest one in the group, dressed as Minnie Mouse. She may actually win the costume contest today. Who knows? So welcome, you guys. Welcome, everybody. Today is a fun, special day. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in New Orleans. We welcome everyone that's watching us on Facebook today. Come and see us sometimes right here out in Metairie, right on Veterans Boulevard. You're always welcome to our 10:30 service, and we have a wonderful children's youth program at the same time as well. And today is our annual Fall Festival, where many people, I know you can't see them if you're watching on Facebook, but many people are dressed in costumes. We're going to have a pizza party later. We're going to have a raffle. We're going to have a costume contest. We're going to have a lot of fun. You guys ready for that? Yay! Anybody here for the very first time? No? Nobody here for the very first time? Yes, him? Yeah. We've seen him around before. I'd always like to mention to everyone that's watching us today, if you would like to get a packet about unity and what we are all about, if you have any questions, we can simply send that to you. It's a packet of information about unity, what it does all around the world and what it does right here in our area. You can simply leave your name and address in the comment section and we'll make sure and get that to you. So let's all just take a deep breath. I know I've been running around this morning and just need to relax. Becoming centered here and now. Our wonderful office administrator, Bill, had a minor surgery on Tuesday, but he's still recuperating. And boy, I didn't realize how much stuff he did on Sunday morning until I got here this morning and started trying to duplicate all that he did in addition to getting ready. So we send Bill a lot of prayers, and he'll be back with us next week, raring to go, but he's resting a little bit. So just ran around quite a bit this morning. Worked up a sweat, just some aerobics. So go ahead and silence your cell phone or anything else that might make a noise as we move into a more sacred time of our service. But before then, we're going to bring up these beautiful kids again. Come on up. Look at them. All right. You going to come up, Jackson? All right. Let's see. Jackson's not going to come up, but she's got, what kind of outfit is that?
Owl.
Oh, Jackson's dressed as an owl. Look at these beautiful girls. What are you dressed as? A flapper.
Ice queen.
Ice queen. How beautiful. Wow, y'all. Let's give these girls a hand. Look how beautiful they are. A reminder, as I said earlier, remember that we have this wonderful youth program with teachers that teach kids these wonderful life-changing principles at 10:30 as we have our service out here. So we're so glad you guys are with us today. We're going to send them a blessing. And as we send this blessing to them, we send it to children all over the world. May they recognize and remember who they are as divine expressions of life. So say with me, children of light, we bless you. We see you loved, guided, and protected by God's presence. And New Orleans style, we love you hard, hard, hard. We swear to God. All right, you guys can go into the back, y'all. Once again, just becoming settled in to this time and this place. Relaxing and breathing in. Becoming centered here and now. Recognizing that everything we need is here in this moment. For within us there is a power and a presence greater than any circumstances. And so we open up to receive this life, this creative power within us. We know that it's found in the silence as we hear it said, be still and know that I am God. And we relax into this holy instant as we listen to these thoughts from our daily word.
Morning. Sunday, October 28th, 2018. I am grateful for the gifts within each moment. Every moment exudes infinite possibility, and I'm grateful for the gifts each moment offers in my life today. Still, it is not always easy to remember the power of possibilities that lie within every moment as distractions claim my attention. Retreating from the external by turning within I center my awareness in God and my divine identity. I anchor myself in the now moment, appreciative of its power and open to its gifts. It is by tuning into this moment that I feel the light and love of infinite spirit. Acknowledging that the source of all I need is within and all around me, I relax into the peace of each powerful moment. I joyfully affirm, I am grateful for the gifts within each moment. See, now is the acceptable time. See, now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2.
These beautiful words reminding us that now is the only time that we have. The past is over. The future is not here. The only time we have is this precious moment. And we can make a choice in this moment to feel love, to feel peace, to feel the presence within us. Right here, right now, we come into the very presence of God. Because we are here, that presence is here. We are the very hands and feet and voice of the divine. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God. And our hearts are open to the love that's found. Right here, right now. Right here, right now. We have come into the presence of God. And our hearts are open to the love that's found. Right here, right now. And our hearts are open. And our hearts are open to the love that's found. Right here, right now. Within us, in this moment, is a power greater than anything in this world. There is a place within you where nothing is impossible. There is a place within you that only knows perfect love, that only knows perfect peace. There is a place within you that can heal any dis-ease. This is who you really are. Your true essential self, created in the image and likeness of God. And so we enter into a deeper time of prayer and meditation to access this, our true nature, which is found most clearly in the silence. When our mind is still, our thoughts are still, we allow our bodies to become still. We begin to feel this inner presence that sometimes we forget about as we get involved with our daily activities and the chaos and commotion of this world. This perfect place of peace always stays exactly where it is, at the center of your being. And no matter what has happened in your life's journey, nothing has changed what God has created whole, perfect, and complete. That is you, the beloved, the blessed, the holy child of God. This, your true essential self, is the only real thing about you. It was here before you were born. It is within you now. And it will be the only thing you will leave this experience with It is timeless, ageless, forever loving, forever loved. So I invite you to allow yourself to become still and quiet. Feel your body relax into this moment, releasing any tension or stress. Feel your shoulders gently drop. You begin to focus on your breath, watching your breath as you breathe in deeply, and watching as you exhale. Using your breath as a mantra, a center point. Releasing all tension from your body. Focusing all of your energy here and now. Completely surrendering to this moment. And just as your body has become still, take a moment and look at your thoughts. See what may be there. And realize that you have the choice for your mind to become open and empty and still. Forcing the sacred spaces between your thoughts. This holy gap. This is where you find God. This is where you find yourself. In the stillness. In the quiet. In the silence. In the sacred emptiness. Completely surrendering to this moment. Here and now. Continuing to breathe, watching your breath, listening in the silence. The silence. Be still and know Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Join in if you like. Be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Once more, be still and know. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. And so from this sacred place of stillness, we give gratitude, thankfulness. We can come together, reminding each other of our magnificence, reminding each other of who we are as the beloved expressions of life. For this time together, we say, thank you, God, and so it is. Good morning once again, everyone. Thank you for spending your Sunday morning with us here at Unity of Metairie, and we welcome everyone once again that's watching us online. It's quite exciting every week to look at the numbers on Facebook and see how we're growing exponentially online, how many people watch us from actually all over the world. It's really kind of neat to know. How's my hairdo look? If the world's seeing me, I want to know. So, everybody had a good week? Interesting week? I think we're all in the midst of change and acceptance and surrendering and learning and growing and knowing and all of those things. I had a very dear friend who's an extraordinary musician named Edika Luckett. She learned how to play guitar in the jungles of Brazil, so she had this interesting way of playing guitar and played exquisitely and wrote songs based on the writings of Rumi. These beautiful, beautiful, heart-melting songs. She was in her late 40s and she made her transition just a few days ago. And you know how sometimes when someone that we know makes their transition, it's sometimes easy to accept and just very gentle. And man, this has been a hard one for me. I've really struggled with it for the last few days. And we know for sure that life is ongoing and eternal and there's new adventures to be had. But I guess what makes me sad, just being in all honesty, and I'm just using you as my therapy today, so thank you. I don't need to pay a therapist $100. Is, and I know many of you may relate to this in some way, if someone has a special skill that they have, and hers was just the minute she stepped on stage and started playing the guitar, your heart just opened. She didn't have to say a word. You know those kind of musicians that just step up there and it's something magical just happens without me even saying anything? That's how Edika was. And so what has made me sad was thinking that even though she had this great body of work, of CDs that she had made through the last, couple of years, beautiful, beautiful words and music that I've been blessed that has inspired me so long, I've just been thinking, wow, she'll never play that guitar again, and I'll never get to hear her sing in this format again. So I've tried to be open and learn to develop our new relationship because she decided to make her transition consciously, which I've only known 2 people who have done this. And what this means is that when it comes time for someone to make their transition, they don't resist it. They simply accept it and realize that it's just the laying down of the body to go on to the next adventure. And she was in her partner's arms when she made her transition. She had quite a few years battle with cancer and finally said, I'm done. We're done. And she passed in her partner's arms, which is really beautiful. Her partner sent me a message, and I thought this was so fascinating, so brave. She said, even as she began to make her transition out of her body, Erica, my friend, was communicating to her partner and telling her what was happening. She was totally unafraid of the process. And so it enabled her to be present. She even wrote down things that she was seeing. Even when she couldn't talk anymore, and she was half in her body and half out, she started writing down things that she saw and drawing some pictures. And so my friend Lisa Ferrara, who is her partner, said it was just the most beautiful thing that you can imagine. It turned what some of us think of as a scary time into something really beautiful and holy and sacred. And so although I have great sadness, this one was a hard one for me, as I said. When I think about that, I thought, wow, wouldn't it be great to be able to do that when our time comes, whenever that is, just to be able to embrace it, knowing that we know that there's something beautiful and wonderful after, and that life is eternal and ongoing. And so I just wanted to share that with you because it's on my heart, and I try to be authentic when I stand here in front of you, and I just wanted to share that to you and give that as a blessing to my friend Erica. And as I said, I know that I will never hear her play guitar in that way live again. I know that she can inspire me in other ways through music and through sound and through vibration, through energy. So I'm now getting over the sadness, looking forward to what is to come. So we bless you, Erica, on your journey. So, for the last, say, 60, 70 years, our country and other countries have spent a lot of money going out there into space, searching, debating about UFOs, debating about, whenever we landed on the moon, how many people said that it really didn't happen. Remember when said it was a hoax? They just couldn't believe that could happen. And I went online looking about this, reminding myself of this today, and I was surprised at how many people actually did think it was a hoax, and there was all these videos where they were trying to prove it, and thought it was so fascinating. But we just spent a lot of time looking outward, thinking, I know it's a lot of curiosity involved, and there's nothing wrong with it, but I think there's a part of us that thinks that whatever is out there is much more special and magnificent than we are right here. You know what I mean? The thing out there. And of course there's probably other life forms. I mean, there has to be. If you consider how big our universe is, I mean, I think we'd be pretty arrogant to think that we're like the only things. It's probably in some format that we wouldn't understand, and they probably think that we look like some weird little munchkins or something, They may be more advanced or less advanced. But the point is, our magnificence is right here. It's right now. It's within us. Does anybody remember the date that we landed on the moon? Wow, who said that? Oh my God, that's true. At 2:56 exactly in the afternoon, July 21st, 1969, Neil Armstrong stood on the moon and he said, "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." I think that's kind of embedded in our culture, hearing that. And I didn't know there was controversy about that too, because Neil Armstrong said that he said, one small step for a man, one giant step for mankind. And so it was just crazy reading all this debate over how much that sentence would change if you said amen. And he said upon even when he was making his transition that he did say a, but it just didn't matter anymore. You know? I mean, what difference does it make? I mean, he was the first person to put his foot on the moon. And we take it for granted, I think, that that happened, because it just happened. But think about how magnificent and spectacular that was. That someone got into this machine, they shot off into space, went all the way to our moon, climbed out of that machine, and walked around. I mean, it's really mind-boggling if you really, really think about it. Wow. I wouldn't do it. I would be really, really scared. They had, they said that they had the statement ready of condolences in case they got trapped, because they really thought that they might have been trapped on the moon. They weren't sure that they were going to be able to bring them home. And so they had the statement ready to go live on television if they were to get trapped. And there's actually a movie out about this right now. Anybody know what I'm talking about? It's called First Man. Thank you. So it's kind of timely. I'd be thinking about that. Maybe that's what got into my consciousness and thought about that. So an estimated 500 million people worldwide watched the event, which was the largest television audience for a live broadcast at that time. Seems like that would almost be now. I don't know how many people watch the Super Bowl, but that's a lot of people to be watching. And if you were an adult at that time and really kept up, we were in this mad race with the Russians to get there first. You remember this, if you were from that time? I remember when I was little, I was always scared of the Russians. Kind of still am, I guess. Not really. But we always used to say here, the Russians are coming, the Russians are coming. What are we going to do? And we would hide. They would say, go hide here and hide there, a bunch of craziness. But we were always in competition with them because they were also a superpower. And I found it compelling that they actually, at one point, were going to try to work together to make this happen. The U.S. and the USSR tried to make this happen together, and they just couldn't get to that point of understanding and meeting at that place to do it together. And how beautiful that would have been if a cosmonaut and an astronaut had stepped off at the same time. Wouldn't that have been wonderful and glorious? But it went from that to a competition. And there was just this burning desire to get out there, to get out into space, to see what was there, to try to prove, was there life, was there not life? People were selling rocks that they found at the lake as moon rocks. This brings back a lot of memories for me. I can't, like in '69, I think I was in elementary school, I think. Yeah, I was still in elementary school, maybe going into middle school. And we talked about being able to get moon rocks. And this exhibit came to our school where they actually brought moon rocks under a glass case, and we couldn't touch them, but we could look at them. But I remember there were these scams going around where people were trying to sell, like, you know, just pebbles as moon rocks, and people get all excited and buy them. I guess people have been scamming since the end of time. I mean, since the beginning of time. If you might remember, in 1947, there was a little incident in New Mexico that we still talk about today, Roswell, New Mexico, that fascinated everyone because initially they reported that aliens had been captured and that a spaceship had crashed and the government sealed it off. And I think to this day it's still sealed off and called Area 51. Is that what it's called now? But it fascinated us. Why did it fascinate us so much? Because we thought, wow, there's other beings. We were just compelled to see what they look like. I've often wondered what an alien might look like. Anybody ever seen an alien? No? Well, I mean, you never know. There's all kinds in Unity. So I remember going through a phase where I was reading books that had been channeled by a group called the Pleiadians, which had all this really interesting stuff in it for spirituality. However, after a while, I started realizing that once again, that I was looking to an outside source, something that was out there, that somehow these other beings and these aliens would somehow know more than I could know. We diminish our power and forget that we're happening here and now, and we're the magnificent ones. So the talk today is really about the new frontier. I believe this is what is happening now. As you've noticed, I guess because of budgetary reasons and other reasons, we no longer talk about space a lot. I mean, when was the last time that you heard about, us trying to, I know we landed on Mars in the last couple of years, put a rover there, but you don't hear about, remember how excited everybody used to be about space? You don't really hear about it anymore, at least I don't. You hear a little bit about NASA, mostly that the budget is cut. But I believe that what is happening, and I see it all around, is the new frontier is an inner journey. I think many of us are beginning to understand that as far as we could go into space, to the moon, to Mars, and beyond, pales in comparison to what is within us. And for most of us, what is within us is uncharted territory. And what I mean by that is that we barely have begun to scrape the surface of the power that resides within us because of our beliefs and limitation and our doubts about ourselves and our low self-esteem and all those beautiful things that sometimes come with being a human being. Sometimes we're actually afraid to look within because we're afraid what we might see there. And I love Course in Miracles says, and I paraphrase it says, if you do look within, you see something magnificent and beautiful. Don't be afraid to really look within. But I do believe that it's uncharted territory. I believe that there is something so deep within us that is so powerful that we've barely even begun to access it. I believe that's where our journey is leading to. And I think that it's been shown in a couple of things. I was going to read you about some fascinating things. Do you know what hyperthymesia is? Anybody know? Don't ask this on Jeopardy now because you'll lose your double Jeopardy points. Hyperthymesia, there's about 10 people in the world that have this, that's been proven. And they're people that can remember every single detail of their entire life. The actress Mary Lou Henner, who was in the show Taxi and did some other movies later, she's one of those 10. And it just fascinated me. I read about this for hours. So these people, if you had Mary Lou Henner here, you could say, so Mary Lou, what happened on September 6th, 1978? And immediately she would tell you, I wore a blue dress and I went to eat and I did this and I did that, and she could tell you the entire thing. Isn't that just crazy? And half of the people that have hyperthymesia think it's a blessing, and half of them think it's a curse. I'm not sure if I would like that or not. Can you imagine being logged into your brain every single moment of your life, every single memory still there? Crazy. Mind-boggling. And the reason I talk about hyperthymesia is that it is showing us that we're pushing our consciousness out to the outer bounds. I mean, that's just something that we could hardly even comprehend. You should look it up and look at some of the videos and interviews with these people. So Mary Lou Henner is this really joyful, bubbly young lady. I don't know how old she is now. Most of the interviews I saw was when she was younger. But she's just really radiant and beautiful. And she said, I just love it. I remember all my birthday parties. I remember all my Christmases. I had a wonderful childhood. I remember everything. And then there was another half of the other group that said, it's a burden because every sad thing that ever happened to me is always here right in front of my face. Every sad thing, I relive it over and over. So once again, what I talked about last week, if you were here, that the world presents to us as we want to see it. So once again, this shows that each of these groups see this as a blessing and a curse based on how they look at life. But I thought it was really, really crazy. So just reading something about it. People who remember every moment of their lives, including world events. So it's not just their life, But when the space shuttle blew up and any kind of event like that, they remember that too. They would say like, what happened on November something 1982? Oh, that's the day that the space shuttle blew up. So not only is it your life events, but every world event as well. That's a lot of information. Can you imagine that? And being able to access it. So she says that whenever someone says a date, that something in her mind starts going like a computer, like a Google search, and the calendar pops up on that month and that year, and then she zooms in on that day on the calendar, and then everything that happened that day comes to life. It's just crazy. For most of us, our memories are filled with the minutiae of our personal lives. We tend to remember that relatively unimportant time we went to McDonald's with our grandma for years, while information learned in high school about the U.S. Constitution slips away just months, if we're being optimistic, after learning it. For people with highly superior autobiographical memory, it's even more dramatic. People with hyperthymesia can remember almost every little thing that happened to them over the course of their lives. Just amazing to me. And once again, nothing really important about this. I mean, I don't know if I would want to have this or not, but what is activated and potential in one person is available in all of us. So it just shows me that we are pushing ourselves in consciousness to another frontier. There's another, let me figure out this other. There's another phenomenon with people, here we go. People that smell words and hear colors. Have you heard about this before? I want to find my notes about it. Really, 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 really cool. Here it is. It's called synesthesia, which is smelling a sound or hearing a color. Now this is really weird. I don't know if I'd like this or not. I actually saw an interview with some people like this on 60 Minutes one time, many years ago, and they said it definitely was a curse. There was this one guy that anytime someone said beer, he tasted old cheese. Can you imagine that? He said, I can't go to a bar and can hardly watch commercials. The minute someone said beer, he tasted old rotten cheese. Isn't that crazy? 1 person out of every 1,000 has synesthesia, a psychological phenomenon in which they can smell a sound or hear a color. Most of these people are not aware they are synesthesists and feel certain about the way they perceive things. They think the way they experience the world is normal. I guess if you experience it all the time, you would think it was normal. But when they realize that something is not quite right, they become disappointed. The research field has grown from grapheme color synesthesia to include other forms of synesthesia in which flavors are evoked by music or words, space structures by time units, and colors by music. Now that one kind of makes sense for me. I mean, sometimes when I'm listening to music, if I close my eyes, I can see some colors. Anybody else like that, or see things? I've always been jealous of people that have these great visions whenever they do meditation and spiritual practice, because I don't see a darn thing. You know, and I used to think something was wrong with me. So I would, you know, somebody would get up and say, like, I had this incredible meditation, and I went out of my body and I walked on this beautiful beach, and an animal ran by, a deer ran by, and this angel came up and loved me and held me and said I was loved. I was like, I don't see anything but blackness. And I realized finally that's just some people's gift. Anybody have that gift? Anybody has like really sensory meditations where you see things and all kinds of stuff happens? Well, can you imagine these people smelling sounds or hearing colors? Just amazing. Once again, this is a phenomenon that shows me that in consciousness, collectively, the journey is within. That is the new frontier. That's the place that is mostly unexplored. That's the place that we are reaching for. I think it's where we're all headed. trying to find that place within us, which for many of us is a mystery, for most of us actually. The frontier going deep within, for we've yet to realize that within us is this very sacred and beautiful presence. This presence that we get a glimpse of as we meditate, as we sit in stillness, if we hear beautiful music, like the music of my friend Etika. And as I mentioned, I believe we just now scratched the surface of this new frontier, this inward journey. As we begin to access His presence. Many people refer to this presence as a genius, saying that within each of us there is a genius. But we have to learn to access that. We have to learn to access this presence. I really believe that in years to come, we won't have times of meditation where we just sit down and meditate. I believe that our entire life will be one big meditation from the time we wake up until the time we go to bed, where we stay in tune and in touch with that presence. This presence of life that came with us, packaged within us. That is the new frontier. And just as we once were compelled to look without and look into space to find something, we're beginning to realize that we are it. We are what we seek. You are what you seek. So my prayer for us is that we take these thoughts and ideas that have been brought to us by the Fillmores who co-founded Unity and other great teachers and mystics and masters that said salvation is within. There is no need to look without. May we learn to take time from our daily lives, which sometimes are hectic, and spend as much time as we can journeying within, accessing that genius, accessing that beautiful presence within each and every one of us, and more clearly seeing it in those around us. For when we look at someone's face, we're actually looking at the face of God. We're actually looking at the face of the divine. Underneath the exterior of the skin and the bones is something magnificent and powerful. May we see that presence within ourselves, journey within, and so see that presence in others. You are the face of God. Within you is something extraordinary. So I want us to sing together this beautiful song by my friend Karen Drucker. It says, you are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. As we journey within. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in face of God. Once more, you are the face of love. You are the face of love. I hold you in my arms. You are a part of me. You are the face of love. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. And as we journey within and see that presence within ourselves, so we see it in others. I'd like to ask Carla to come up to light our candles. And Crystal, if you can read our religions, I thought it'd be appropriate this morning as we take time to honor all spiritual paths, honoring our world's religions.
I'd like to honor the diversity of all people and all religions, recognizing that spirit is in all and all are divine. At this time, we symbolically honor the sacredness of all spiritual paths, realizing that there are many common threads throughout many religions and many life paths. Let us open our hearts and minds to accept the uniqueness of all. Native American practice is the path of honoring the earth and all being. Shintoism is the path sensitive in nature's spiritual forces, honoring the sacred spirits of ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Sufism is the path of daily communion with God. Christianity is the path of love and forgiveness. Taoism is the path of meditation and contemplation, focusing on the inner harmonies of the universe. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Judaism is the path of living by sacred law. Buddhism is the path of compassion, detachment, and mindfulness. Paganism and Wicca both see the sacred in nature as well as the individual soul and seek understanding of the evolution and mystery of the universe. Unity is the path of empowerment and change through our conscious co-creation with Spirit.
So we take just a moment and reflect. Recognizing God in everything. Seeing that divine presence everywhere. Being grateful for it all. As we continue our journey within this new frontier, this uncharted territory, unlimited, powerful beyond measure, with creativity and inspiration, infinite love, infinite peace is available to all of us today if we're willing to take that journey within. We're willing to head up the new frontier. Then each of us, there is love, there is life, there is God. This is the truth about you. This is the truth about me. And so it is. Amen and amen. So this morning we come to the part of our service where we give to support this magnificent place we call Unity of Metairie, knowing that we are a divine idea in the mind of God, a light in this community for 40 years. We bless everyone that's ever walked through these doors and everyone that will walk through these doors from here on. May we be an example of love, an example of light, an example of God. We give this morning with an abundant, open, and grateful heart, knowing that all of our needs are met and there is an eternal flow of abundance. As we give, we receive. So as we bring our tithes and offering forward, you can also take an affirmation with you throughout the day. And Joan is in the lobby, in the Welcome Center where you came in, if you'd like to give with a credit card electronically. And also for all of those watching us on Facebook today, there's a link right below where you're watching if you would like to support our vision of co-creating a world that works for everyone. You can click one link there and give securely and easily. We are abundant, we are prosperous. We are a great idea in the mind of God. Knowing how blessed we are, we give this morning with gratefulness. We are so blessed for all that we have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. And once all together we are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed. And we are grateful to everyone that gives to support our community. If it's with tithes and offering or volunteering, spending time here, cleaning, whatever we may do, we're grateful to everyone that gives. Keeps this place going. And we send out an extra shout out to Bill. I don't know if Bill's watching us this morning on his computer, but hey, Bill, we hope you're feeling good. We missed you today and hope to see you soon. He'll definitely be back next Sunday. So let's just breathe in, becoming present here. I have to tell you, I kind of struggled today. I just kept feeling, I was thinking about my friend, and it's not a feeling of sadness, just a kind of a low energy or something. So, just trying to be real. And I hope that you heard something that was inspiring. I was just thinking about that poor guy that tasted cheese every time somebody said beer. Wouldn't that just be horrible? But I think it is amazing as we hear about these people who can do extraordinary things, or they have extraordinary gifts. There's something within us that's expressing itself in such an interesting and big way, Just incredible. And it's just a sign of what is to come for all of us. I hope we don't have to smell cheese, but it's a sign to know that there's something much greater than what we see just with our human form. So today is our fall festival. We have pizzas on the way. I think they're going to be here in like 4 or 5 minutes. So I hope you're hungry. We ordered a lot of pizza. Everyone is welcome to stay for that. We're going to play some music and have some fun. As we get into eating and we're chatting for a little bit, then we're going to have our costume contest and have everybody come up. And everybody's going to be a winner, but it'll be fun. Everyone can come up and show off their duds, as we say. So please stay with us today, and you can stay and watch us on Facebook as well. I don't know if you need the pizza, but maybe you can have a pizza at home. But we do invite you to stay. Everyone is welcome. And once again, welcome everyone that chose to spend this morning with us, and everyone that's watching us online this morning. So grateful to see you and have you here. During the week, we have This week is not a class because there's 5 Tuesdays in October. So this is Paul and Brenda's night off. They were being divas, so they said, we need a night off, demanding it, not really. But anytime we have 5 Tuesdays, they take that night off. So we don't have a class on Tuesday, but we will have our regular Wednesday night service, even though it is Halloween. We will have meditation at 6 and a shortened discussion on A Course in Miracles at 7. We'll meet for just an hour from 7 to 8 because I want to go see all those crazy costumes in the quarter. I went last night in the quarter and it was already wild, the Saturday before. But we will meet for, even though it's Halloween, welcome to wear your costume back again. We'll meet at 6 for meditation and 7 for A Course in Miracles. Our friend Catherine Wyatt, who I don't see her here today, is continuing to offer a very special session on Monday afternoons at 5:30 where she goes through all things about Eastern philosophy. She does some light yoga. She talks about Ayurvedic things and other healing techniques that have been used in the East for centuries. If you're interested in that and interested in doing some light yoga and discussing and learning more about Eastern religion and philosophy and way of life, join her tomorrow at 5:30. Yesterday, how many people came to the pet blessing yesterday? I know we had a couple of people come from the church, didn't we, Shelley? Our friend Shelley Farrow had a pet blessing yesterday, and I was going to try to make it, but I'm helping care for a friend who had surgery as well, so didn't make it, but it was a wonderful time, I would think. Did anybody actually bring their pets?
Yeah, we did.
Awesome. Cool. And so I had a beautiful blessing, and thank you for doing that yesterday. I know a couple people were very excited about it. We continue to give the Second Harvest Food Bank oatmeal and cereal for October, so bring that in, and we will deliver that to where it needs to be at the end of October. And Marion, you have a special word over here? Oh, yes. We have a raffle going on today, too. So Jen has the tickets here. Show those tickets. So thanks for reminding me of that. So we're going to be giving away, there's a basket. There's a beautiful gift basket back there. We're going to be giving away an Eddie Watkins CD, a Christy Snow CD, one of Yvonne's beautiful paintings. So as you're milling around getting something to eat, buy a raffle ticket. They're, I think we said they're $1 a piece or 10 for $8. I think that's how it is. So $1 a piece or 10 for $8. If you get 10, you get $2 off. So get you some raffle tickets, and we'll be raffling off some of this stuff as we go through our lunch today. So see Jen, and if you need a credit card, you can see Joan if somebody wants to. You can use your credit card for that as well. We have the new daily words in for November and December, so pick those up in the bookstore for just $5. It's a daily dose of information and inspiration you can have to start your day off right. Oh, and Carla, you want to tell us about this? We have our illustrious Carla coming up, and I'm still looking for the pizza man out there. Here you go.
So, I know all of y'all have noticed that we don't have a keyboard. So, my husband, Ken, took it upon himself to start a Jack Fowler electronic keyboard fund. And he says, please give what you can in appreciation of our wonderful spiritual director. Every cent goes towards the purchase of a new keyboard for Jack. Thank you. So, he made this box. As you can see, it's got a little lock on it. And he wrote a check, put it in here. It's $100.
Wow.
And we're challenging everybody else to ante up and match it or exceed it. So this is going to be in the Welcome Center. It'll be, I don't know how many weeks we'll do this, but I guess till Christmas. Maybe before Christmas would be a great Christmas gift, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Awesome. Well, it's been, I grew up as a child playing classical piano, so I've really enjoyed playing the piano. If it was just in tune, we would be a little bit easier there. But it's been actually really joyful for me to be at the piano. It's a very different thing from playing a keyboard. But thank you, Ken and Carla, for being aware of that and starting that. We want to get a really nice keyboard that we can keep here at the church. The one we had before was mine, and it was really old, and it finally bit the dust. So we want one that we can just keep set up here all the time. So Adam, did we get CDs made today?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Adam's filling in for Everett today, so thank you. Let's give him a hand. Took on a lot of work this morning, just being thrown into the fire. So we do have CDs of today's service if you'd like to take this home with you to remind you of the new frontier or to share it with a friend. Those are available. I think we just about covered everything. I'd like my singers to come back up and join me. Will the girls come and join me again? We're going to stand together to sing the You and Me song, and hopefully the girls can come and join us.
We're here.
Y'all are here? All right, y'all. All right, let's stand together knowing that there's one life, one love, one infinite power, you and me. And those lyrics should be up there, Adam. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out, I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. There's one life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out, I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one light shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. One life, one life, one love, one life, one life, one love, one life, one life, one love, yeah. One life, one life, one love, one life, one life, one love, one life, one life, one love, yeah. Come on, break it down. You guys look great today. You're very welcome. So I'm shining. Oh, yes, I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy, I just want to shout. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, God is all there is. One life living as you and me, one life shining as you and me, one love loving as you and me, 'cause God is all there is. We say our prayer protection as we get ready to eat our pizza. Everyone, please stay with us this morning as we say together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Get ready for the Halloween costume contest. Yay! God is calling. All is well, life is good. All is well. everybody's welcome to have pizza and get some raffle tickets. We're going to raffle off this basket. They're just $1 a piece, or 10 of them for $8. We have all kind of pizza. We have cheese and vegetarian and a combo and pepperoni. So all kinds of good stuff. Just about 10 or 15 minutes, we'll have everybody come up that wants to be in the costume contest.
can get tickets. Let's go get water. And if you have the ticket that has the number that he calls out,
There's plenty, so make sure and fill your tummy.
I will be there at Big Bang. Let's go get some drinks first.
Okay, while you're eating, we're going to do our first raffle. This is going to be for an Eddie Watkins CD. He's a phenomenal musician who's been to see us many times, and we sing his songs. We come together, and you and me that we sing this afternoon. This is Eddie Watkins Jr. Greatest Hits. It's got like 25 songs on it. So, let's see. Will you girls come and help? Well, we'll take turns doing it. Just do one and then Nicole, you do the next one, okay? All right, everybody listen.
245523.
Oh, you won? Did you hear them? Cool, there you go. Get a pile of music. Do you have any other CDs?
Come on, guys.
Awesome. Well, let's get you one more while we're doing this. Okay, this is going to be for Christy Snow's really awesome Native American flute CD. Christy is going to be with us in December, the first week in December. This is awesome Native American flute called A Tune to the Ancients. Awesome CD.
Number 2455. Wait. Number 245537.
You got that one? You got it, Tony? Oh, Dave, okay, cool. There you go. Oh, he'll love this. Yes, that's perfect for him.
We're getting tickets for our own family. That's crazy. Abigail, problem.
Awesome. Don't forget, everybody, to save space for some of Sophia's world famous chocolate cake. And there's brownies. All right, we're going to do another raffle drawing. Will you girls get that hummingbird off the table? All right. So let's go. So this is everyone. I don't know if everyone knows Yvonne over here, and she's got her pumpkin covered dress on. She is an awesome artist and has decorated and made our walls really beautiful for years. And she does these beautiful prints. So this is one of her prints with a hummingbird. What does it say? Can you read it, Nicole?
Like the hummingbird, aspire to hover and savor each moment and celebrate the joy of each day.
Oh, beautiful. So, beautiful, beautiful print from Yvonne.
The number is 245499.
499.
Look at that.
Who?
245499.
Marion! Yay! Can you take that to me, Marion? All right. Yay! Seriously, y'all, we got tons of pizza. Eat. Let me send some of it home.
Look at that. They're starting the costume contest. What about the big basket win?
Right, I'm gonna find some Halloween music and we're gonna get ready for the costume contest.
Wait, right now. What about the Halloween basket?
We're gonna do that after the costume All right. Who's ready to enter the costume contest? Why don't you guys come up here so we can see you a little bit? All right, who else?
He did the monster mash.
You're gonna do the monster mash.
Graveyard smash. It caught on in a flash. He did the monster. From my love,
Did you come in the costume contest?
to the monster.
Come on, y'all. Adults can be in this too. Oh, look at this baby. This is little Sage, y'all, in her Minnie Mouse outfit. The monster mash. Oh, look at that pretty Minnie Mouse. Come on, anybody else want to? I don't know where she is. She's close by though. All right, come on, no adults. No adults. I can't believe it. Oh, they're on the search for
Great job.
All right, we have some volunteers. Somebody take some pictures. Anybody got their phone? I've lost my phone somewhere. Somebody can take some pictures. That'd be awesome. Oh, my phone's recording. And you can text me those later. That'd be great. Can you guys line up? Awesome. Monster Mash. All right, so we're gonna go down. So this is everybody entering. All right, we already know what you are, but we're gonna ask what you are once again.
I am a blackbird. I'm ice cream.
Sage is Minnie Mouse.
Security guard.
Disabled security guard.
Bad girl. Bad girl. Fall fairy.
To my surprise, he did the monster.
Wolf and owner of the wolf. All right. All right, we love it. So you guys pose, everybody get some pictures, and text some of these to me now. Kind of clump together right in the middle, and let's get a really good picture. Yeah, you girls get in the middle and sit still for a minute. And Nicole and Abby, turn around and pose. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Y'all sit still. Get a couple good pictures. The Monster Mash. Anybody know what the Monster Mash is?
No, I do it. You go tell us.
I don't know. All right, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. Well, I'm going to hold my hand over them, and you guys have to cheer, okay? We're going to start here with the girls. So y'all got to cheer now as we do it, okay? Oh, y'all can do better than that. All right. And these two together. Well, I think that it's a runaway. Miss Sage, I think, won the best costume contest. Isn't that great? But everybody's a winner, and these two are winners with their beautiful outfits. Look at that. Look at the flapper. Look at the Ice Princess, y'all. Let's give everybody that dressed up a hand once again. Thank you guys so much. Yay! In just a moment, we're going to give away this really awesome gift basket that Jen did. It's so cool.
Wait, are we still
Oh, did you bring it up?
what cup?
All right. So this is Halloween dinner and a movie for two.
Wow! Look at your
Y'all, this is so cool. Let me tell you what all is in it. Make sure and get your raffle tickets. There's a DVD of Dracula Untold, whatever that is. Is it a bad?
It's the new Dracula. It's the new one that they just came out with. It's like the origin story of how he became Dracula.
How he became Dracula.
It looks really creepy.
It looks really creepy, Jen says. Okay, also there's some popcorn in there. A popcorn bowl. Some pasta. Some Bertolli vodka sauce. Some Sauvignon Blanc. Napkins. And spiderweb fleece throw for snuggling. Awesome, thank you so. Oh, this is cool. I like this. I got you. Okay. So we're gonna take just a moment. Let's take a moment before we draw it. Anybody else make sure you get your raffle tickets? Anybody else want to take a chance on this?
I really want to win. What if we don't win?
All right. You guys get your tickets out. She's doing some mojo on it. Okay, this is for the big gift basket.
2, 4, 5, 5, 1, 0.
What is it?
2, 4, 5, 5, 1, 0.
All right, Rick! Yay! All righty, you get this Halloween basket. Awesome. You'll be laid up with all that you need for a scary, spooky Halloween night. Thank you, Jen.
Dixie, come here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Contributing that. Here's your little certificate.
It's not a monster. And it's a graveyard
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. There's still pizza left. There's some great chocolate cake and brownies. And we're going to send pizza home with everybody, too. Whoever wants to take some. We're going to have a lot.
and you can monster mash. And you like a dance smash. You'll catch on in a flash. And you can monster mash. Your impatient sleep.
Yes, I do.
Super fast, Jackson, want some more cake? Jackson, you want another bite?